All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here this evening. We're going to be talking a little bit about the project on population age structure. So before we go ahead with that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our objectives, go over a little bit about population age structure, and then give you some instruction on as to how to be successful with this project. So the goals, obviously, for the project in alignment with the lesson would be for you to interpret age structure diagrams. Okay, be able to compare age structure diagrams as they relate to both populations that are stable, expanding, or in decline. Okay, and then be able to take those age structure diagrams and use them to predict future trends with regards to population growth. So that's really the crux of this assignment as well as the lesson. So let's take a few minutes to talk a little bit about what population age structure is. Okay, so some of you are pretty young, and you may have heard the term baby boomers. Okay, so what does that mean? After American soldiers who came back from World War II, the United States experienced this explosion of births in the country. Okay, and that was termed the baby boomer generation. Okay, and it's generally defined as those individuals that were born between 1946 and 1964. Okay, and if we were to take a look at that population of individuals between 46 and 64, you would see that there's about 70, almost 76 million Americans that were born in that time. Okay, um, when we drill down even farther, we could see that 1959, which was a really big year for births, there were about almost 5 million Americans born during that time. So that's a huge, huge number um, for population growth in the United States. Okay, so when we talk about population age structure, we have to talk about a diagram or an age structure diagram that shows us, that gives environmental scientists a means to categorize individuals in pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive stages. Okay, so this then allows not just scientists, but individuals in government agencies to predict how populations might change in the coming years, to predict for budgeting, for infrastructure, for jobs, stuff like that. Okay. Um, so when you look at the age structure diagram for the United States, our population is really expected to change considerably over really the coming years, um, especially as that baby boomer generation comes towards retirement age. Okay, so when you look at interpreting these diagrams, really you have to look at whether populations are expanding, whether they're stabilizing, or whether they're declining. Okay, and your lesson talks a little bit about that, so I'm not going to really go into that because you should have gone through the lesson to be able to understand what they are. But what I want to definitely touch on real briefly here, first of all, are what are some factors that affect age structure. Okay, um, environmental conditions are one of the biggest for prolonged period. Resource scarcity. Healthcare, economic status, and cultural belief are really a lot of factors that affect age structures within populations. Okay, um, so when you're thinking about answering the questions in the project, which we'll get to, I want you to keep those factors under in the back of your mind. Okay, when you're constructing age structure diagrams, which the lesson asked you to do. Okay, typically what we see are males are on the left, females are on the right. We typically color them differently to represent different groups, the pre-reproductive, the reproductive, and the post-reproductive groups. And we talk a little bit about groups being referred to as cohorts. So again, keep that in mind and you can refer back to your lesson for that information as well. So let's now take a few minutes here and talk about the project itself. Okay, so what are the directions and what am I looking for in the project? Okay, so first of all, it says to submit your age structure diagrams from the lesson. Okay, and be sure that you've correctly labeled each diagram. So if you go back into the lesson, okay, um, the lesson actually talks about um, where you can find that information. Okay. Um, so my computer's being a little finicky right here. But if you go back into the lesson, there is a website that um, asks you to click on it to go to view and compare the populations of the Philippines, Canada, and Nigeria. Now, I'm going to warn you, you can click on this website and it's not going to take you where you need to go. In fact, it's going to give you an error message. So do not go to that website. I will post a website on the link of this tomorrow when this goes to the Moodle page of where it wants you to go. Okay, what you're going to do for this is you're not actually, I don't want you to make the actual age structure group or for the population. What I would like you to do for the first part of this project is go to the website that I'm going to give you. Okay, and there's going to be three different populations age structure maps. Why reinvent the wheel? Okay, what I want you to do is I just want you to screen capture, okay, these accurate tables. These were last updated on June 30th, 2015. So these are factual and actual. The way you will screen capture, for those of you that may not know, you will Command Shift the number 4, okay, and you'll get these crosshairs up in the corner. You will highlight your table, and it will take a screen capture that should go right on your desktop. Okay? Once you've taken that screen capture from your desktop, okay, open up a Word document, okay, and drag that picture, that screen picture that you just took, right on to this Word document or to a Word document that you're going to open up. Okay? So you'll put those three right on a Word document from Canada, Nigeria, and the Philippines. Okay, directly to that. All right, that's the first part of this assignment. The second part of this assignment is answering the question. So what's more important for me about this assignment is not to belabor you of doing diagrams, but it's, do you understand the crux of the issue here? Can you interpret these figures for the assignment? Okay, so once you've gotten those diagrams, look at that data and interpret that data. Okay, so the first question is going to ask you which population is the youngest. It's a simple answer, and you'll be able to put that down. And you can put that right underneath those tables on the document on Word. Okay, so again, what you can do, I'm going to show you how I would set this up. Okay, so once you get your diagrams on there, then right below, I would create another section that says Part 2. Okay, and then you can put your questions right underneath Part 2. Okay, so here I'm going to drag it over. There's the table from Canada. Okay, you would have 3 tables, and then you could do something to like this, Part 2, and then your first question would be, which country has the youngest population, and then you would answer it, and then you could just keep going from there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on that. Second, what percentage of Canada's population was between the ages of 33 and 44? Again, another simple answer. Telling me what a cohort is and being able to provide an example. And you can use an example from any of those age structure diagrams. And then finally, being able to put this all together and realize that the human population is said to be aging if its members age 0 to 14 make up less than 30% of the population, and those that age 75 and over make up more than 6%. Do any countries in your lab have aging populations? So of those 3 that you were to look at, which ones meet those criteria, if any? Okay, and tell me which ones they are, and give me your reasoning behind it as to why that is. Okay, so I'm really looking for um, four questions, four answers to questions, and three diagrams that you should be able to get from this from the internet, which this project should take no more than 30 minutes at the most to complete. If you have any other questions or problems, certainly reach out to me this week and or next. And I'll look forward to helping you. We'll be back here next Monday to talk about another topic. And have a great week. Have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you next week.